and I've done a lot of shitty things in my life, and I've done a lot of shitty things in my life, and I've done a lot of shitty things in my life.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and hopefully this will be the last video we have involving a Birmingham Blue Dot or Birmingham Progressive or Lindsay Booker, depending on what we're talking about and what social media apps are up at this particular moment. She has deleted tons of videos, entire accounts, brought them back, blocked me, unblocked me, sent me messages on multiple platforms, all while somehow claiming to be the victim. Now, despite what she tells people, I have the evidence that indicates very clearly that the only message I ever sent her unsolicited was the last message I sent her, telling her, hey, you've taken this about as far as you're going to take it, and you need to stop. Now, she seems to agree, and I'm good with this. So I sent her an email and said, hey, look, I'm willing to drop all of this. All you have to do is just tell the truth or stop. She decided she's not going to do either of those things, but she complied by apologizing. Although it's malicious compliance, I'm now going to use malicious honesty. I'm going to tell you everything about this conversation I possibly can and lay it out as best as I possibly can. I'm going to tell the truth, something she has not done in any of this, and I'm going to use her own words to show you, A, she's a liar, and B, that she's just a terrible person with a terrible personality. And while I've taken that and turned it into a successful career, all she's done is ruin her Paris vacation. So before we get into how we got here, let's talk about the very end of all of this. The very end of all of this is her sending yet another video from Paris where she is spinning out, crashing out, and trying her best to look like she's winning in all of this. She is not winning in all of this. So you'll watch this. She's going to try to sell it to you like, oh, this was her decision and she's doing a great thing and all this other stuff. None of that is true. If you want to click off, this is all over as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not going to be lied about, so I'm going to explain the instances in which she lied, and then we can call it a day. That's up to her. She can continue if she wishes to go down this path. I'm not really interested in it anymore. I've gotten what I want out of this. But let's start at the end. This is where she finally decides, okay, fine, I'm going to stop being a terrible person. I'm going to try to change my life. Something I did not ask her to do, something she will not actually do, but she's trying to sell it that way because she's in a silo or something. Anyway, you got to watch the whole thing. We'll go through it. I'll stop it as we're talking about it. There's a couple of videos I want to get to, and along the way, I'll share some documentation and things like that.
It's my last day in Paris. I'm coming home tomorrow, but I wanted to make you all aware of something that's happening. I'm going to be making some changes to my page, and I want to ask for your help with something. I woke up this morning to yet another email from the radio host who has been emailing me like every day saying that he is going to drop the lawsuit.
Okay, that's true. I have not been emailing her every day. I respond when she sends me messages or lies to the police or any of those things, which she has done, and we'll get to here in just a little bit. In fact, we'll just start right there because it just irritates me. Here's all the emails she sent me. Here is her lying to the police. Here is me contacting the police and saying, look, I don't think she actually contacted you, but if she did, I'm more than willing to talk to you. And here is her admitting she lied to the police. So just with a grain of salt, because I'm the one telling you this, I've showed you all the evidence that is true. Just remember, everything she says is predicated on trying to make her look as good as she possibly can. But because she can't stop lying, it's kind of hard for her to do. So, yes, she's being pestered by my emails responding to her message. And she messaged me on multiple. I did not message her first on a single outlet. She called me out. She messaged me. She emailed me. She messaged me on Instagram. She messaged me on Facebook. All these platforms from 2 different Instagram accounts, all of which she instigated, and then she pretends she's being harassed. Very unlikable. Very untrue. This is just who she is. But anyway, let's listen to her take.
It was a very lengthy email, but the gist of it is that he's not going to sue me for defamation. Instead, he is going to do a full-on smear campaign if I don't apologize or take all of my content down for good. Lots of screenshots of our communication and some other disturbing screenshots, including personal information from the internet, like a picture of my house with the...
Okay, let's talk about the disturbing information here. And what it is information that my attorney gave me about her in her life. And I said, look, I have all of this. You want to continue this? We can. I have people threatening to come to my house. Here's that. This is someone telling me they're going to come to my house. One of many. My home address has been put out here. And in the messages I sent her, I told her very clearly that I will redact anything about your address and things like that because that is messed up. She never once told her followers to stop that nonsense, but they were doing it. She claims she's under threat and everyone's scared of her. Well, she lied about going to the cops. I've already proven that. And she's never shared a single thing where anyone's actually threatened her. I have. She's lying yet again. But this whole, very disturbing things about my house and how much it's worth and all this. Yes, that's how it works. When you go after people and you dox them, which she did. She probably broke the law on doxing. We'll get into that in a little bit. And she always claims she's the victim. Mostly of things she's done herself.
Value of my home and my cell phone number, like super creepy. I think I've posted about him like 4 times, but I have removed every mention of him.
That's a lie. Just to keep in mind that all this is a lie, and this is yet another post about me.
From my page, but he keeps going. He has posted on multiple platforms, multiple times. And apparently he's talking about me on the radio a lot, so much that he's alienating his own listeners. This is a comment from his Facebook page that says, dude, maybe I'm the only one, but you've lost a long-time listener. And
okay. First off, I've been off the air since mid-December. So no one's posting or talking about her on the radio. If you go back and you look at the person here that sent this, they're clearly a left-wing crank, and that's just a message on Facebook that allows her to do this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, again, everything is deception, okay? Everything is deception with her. Nothing is truth-telling, okay? Just to be very clear. And I'm not suggesting that this is not annoying people on my social media, but first off, I've posted less on social media than I have over the last 10 days because it's the holidays. And I've taken most of that off, every day of that off the radio. But for her to continue this and pretend like, it's just I'm nonstop. I've only responded to her. Keep that in mind. From the very beginning, all I ever did is respond to her. She lied, I tell the truth. She lied, I tell the truth. This guy was never a listener, ever. Just to be clear on that. Never was a listener, doesn't live in the area. It's a lie.
Follower over this BS, and goes on to say I may just tune out of 92.5 altogether. So we're talking about like real.
Nobody who listens to WVNN calls it 92.5, just so you know. It's a legacy station. 770 is the legacy frequency where you call it WVNN. You don't call it 92.5. Nobody does that. But that's another tell.
Unhinged stuff. Anyway, this smear campaign is going to include a bunch of websites, and you know what? Go for it.
I'm going to. Okay, thank you. Thank you for permission.
I've been doing social media for 4 years now. I've endured so many smear campaigns.
You talk about that a lot, yet you never show them. So I don't understand, nor do I understand what that has to do with me. Remember, you messaged me.
I have no idea how many times I have been humiliated, how many times I've had to take my page down, how many times I've been canceled. And that's just from my own side. And then, of course, there's the stuff from the MAGA side, mostly white men with things like Christ follower in their bios.
She's so hateful. Like, again, it's all this projection, but you'll notice I'm a MAGA guy, which nobody thinks that I am. In fact, people on my side criticize me because I'm not a MAGA guy. I voted for Trump a few times, but I'm hardly what people would consider to be a MAGA guy. And again, this is just projection because she thinks her audience will eat that up. And they have, because they're idiots. So they have eaten it up. But this whole Christ follower thing and white men thing, that's what white liberal women do. I'm one of the good white people. I don't like white men either. They're the worst. And it's just this nasty progression of nonsense. And she's just running through her normal spiel.
Calling me every name in the book, telling me to off myself.
I've never seen a single thing where she can say, yes, this actually happened. I can show you people saying they're coming to my house. In fact, I already have. So, again, I'm going to guess she's lying here because that's what she's doing. And again, someone who tells you, I've gone to the police, so I'm so scared, and never actually did, is willing to lie about stuff like this. She's a liar. That's sort of why Lindsay Booker is a liar.com or Birmingham Blue Dot is a liar.com exist. Because she's a liar. I mean, that's all it is.
Received death threats. I've been harassed and threatened and doxxed, all of that. And honestly,
And remember that whole thing about her being doxxed. Now remember that, because she's very upset about that. And she would never, ever, ever, ever do something similar to that, except she absolutely would. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
It's been the biggest blessing because I used to be a person who cared very deeply what people think of me, and now I don't at all.
I'm about to show a ton of videos that show you absolutely care very deeply. You are in Paris, ruining your family's vacation. By the way, here is her saying I'm ruining her vacation. So I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Yes, people who don't care say they don't care a lot. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't care about this. I care very much about this. You lied and tried to ruin my reputation. Ended up embarrassing yourself to anyone that matters. I understand your supporters are telling you you're awesome and you're wonderful. But again, this is her admitting that she is ruining her own vacation with this nonsense. And this is yet another video from Paris about that. If I was her husband, I'd be pissed. Especially since she doesn't work. She claims she's retired. But he's paying for this Paris vacation, and here she is obsessing over some guy on the internet because she can't stop telling lies.
You can't hurt my feelings.
No, that is, again, stop lying. You're wrecked here, and you know it.
I don't have any. I'm cured. So anyway, also I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I have lots of skeletons in the closet.
Could we play a victim a little bit more? Who cares?
So you and your friends at 1819 and Yellowhammer, feel free to dig it up. I'm sure it's true, and I own every bit of it.
No, I have no idea. I have not spoken to a single person about this at Yellowhammer or 1819 News or writing a story or any of these things. Just, again, she can't tell the truth. Everything is a projection and a lie. She'll tell you, I've talked to a billion lawyers. All lies. Everything's a lie that comes out of her mouth. She cannot tell the truth. She is incapable of doing so.
I'm a flawed person who is always growing and changing, and my views are always changing as well, because it's okay to change your mind when presented with new information. One of my biggest frustrations with social media is that these algorithms are so sophisticated. They keep us siloed, and I'm in an echo chamber, and a lot of times it just feels like a waste of time because
you reached out to me and did it publicly so your people in your echo chamber would see it and said, I'm going to take on Dale Jackson. And when Dale Jackson said, okay, take me on, you backed out. Your silo is your own creation. I'm trying to go outside of my silo and have a conversation with you. You demanded it be in person. I said, fine, let's set it up in person. And you backed out. We'll go into that a little bit later as well. Everything she says is a lie.
The people who need to hear my message aren't hearing it. But with this new smear campaign on the way, maybe it'll drive some traffic to my page. And
everything you do makes you a victim. If I tell the truth about you, you're the victim in that situation. And maybe that will help you cope some more.
We'll be able to reach some people. Will I be able to change all of their minds? No, but maybe a few. And people can change. I mean, 20 years ago, I used to watch Bill O'Reilly. So this is what I want to do. I'm probably taking TikTok down soon because that's going away anyway. And I'm going to focus on cleaning up my Instagram page, removing content that's no longer relevant, and taking content down with things that I maybe don't believe anymore. Because over the last 4 years, some of my views have changed a little bit. So I want to make sure that the educational content that I'm most proud of, that I worked really hard on, I want to make sure that that is at the top and that it's easy to find so that people hear those messages. And I hope that the big takeaway that people get is that it's this. The media and our politicians and social media and all of these bots, it's all meant to keep us distracted and divided, especially all this culture war bullshit. It is.
You just talked about Christians and white men. Again, all the things you're saying, all of it is projection and lies. And remember what started all this was a guy went after the city of Coleman based on a lie that it was a sundown town, and you were going to take me down because of that. And yet you're not interested in fighting the culture war. Please. The only reason why you don't want to fight the culture war is because you can't win. You're not good enough at this. Yeah, you got a bunch of followers and they're all in your silo telling you how wonderful you are. That's the problem. You need people that tell you suck. That's what you need. I got plenty of those. You need people that are telling you what you're doing isn't good and you should stop doing it. Like, I'm going to get a bunch of people telling me that I shouldn't be doing this. But they're wrong, but I'll listen to them.
all a distraction so that corporations and billionaires can rob us blind and so that our lawmakers can steal our tax dollars. I'm tired of it, and I know you all are too. We probably need a third party in Alabama. I'm too tired to do it. Maybe someone else can start it, but that's how messy it is. So anyway.
They can't even focus on us. There's a second party in the state right now that can't function because people like you are who they're listening to. And you're so out of touch with reality, not just in Alabama, but across the country. You're just a lunatic living in your own silo, and you won't come out of it. Now, I would love to have you on the radio still. That door is still open, but I know you're too big of a coward to ever walk through it. But that door is still open. But please do not act like you're a victim here. You are not. You are the aggressor. Okay? You're the bad guy in all of this. Why are you pretending otherwise?
If there's any content of mine that you really love and you think is very effective messaging, please let me know so that I can repost that and make sure that it goes to the top. And then if you see old content come across your FYP, please just engage and watch it all the way through and interact and all that so that it gets out there and, maybe we can reach some people. I don't know. So anyway, I'm not going to make new content. I've said everything I need to say and I'm really tired. This takes a lot out of me. It really does.
But you don't care. What are you talking about? This didn't ruin your vacation to Paris, except that it absolutely did. Boo freaking who? You did this to yourself. You. 100% your own fault. Be sad about it. So she's had enough.
So that's all. I'm going to go enjoy my last night in Paris, and I will see you all later. Bye.
She did not enjoy her last night in Paris. I can guarantee you that. She was still upset. Now, let's go back to the very beginning of all of this. Okay? That's an important part of this. How did this all start? Well, I called out a guy named Charlie Desi because he claimed Coleman was a sundown town. And she, Lindsay Booker, Birmingham Blue Dot, Birmingham Progressive, well, being a liar, also thought it'd be a good idea to call me out and say she was going to take me on because Charlie Desi couldn't be bothered with it. I already forced him to shut down his website. Now apparently she's doing the same thing. All because I said, hey, let's talk about this. That's the end of this. Asking them to defend their opinions is the end. And I offered her the opportunity that I would go on whatever platform she could create. She's got all these followers. I was willing to do that, and she wasn't up to it. But here's how she opened up our dialogue, just to make sure that I'm the bad guy.
Hey, so this video is for the smallest man who ever lived. He's a man with a microphone, but I promise you have never heard of this guy. So everyone else can go. This is just for him.
He doesn't know how to do anything else, and this is the life he's chosen to live. A miserable, sad, small, pathetic life. Now, the door is open for Charlie. I'm willing to have a conversation with him. And I would love to, but I think he thinks I'm going to destroy him.
That was some textbook projection there, Dale. Talk about a sad, small, miserable little life. You're a straight white man in America.
First interaction I've ever had with her. She claims she doesn't know who I am, but immediately goes to straight white man in America. Not about anything I've said or done or anything like this. This is it.
You could do literally anything. What are you, 50 years old? You could have been a doctor, lawyer, engineer. You could be running a business, literally anything. But instead, you spend most of your time punching down on Twitter. You're like an internet bully. Now, Charlie is my friend, and he does social media for fun. He's not going to come on your show because he doesn't suffer fools. Also, he is busy. He has a full-time, proper job, unlike you. Now, I, on the other hand, I'm retired. I'm free as a bird, so I would love to come on your show.
I wish I married a guy who worked at a bank and made a lot of money. Maybe I could be retired as well. Maybe that's the case. But you're retired. You suffer fools. I'm a fool. Got it.
We can talk to all 4 of your listeners. I'm assuming they're working class white men.
White guys again.
Them about how you are a fucking corporate bootlicker.
Oh, is it because our healthcare companies want us to die? Oh, that's not it. That doesn't make any sense. That can't be it. Is it because we're fat asses who love violence and fentanyl? Is that it? Yes, that is it. You hear a lot of people say, I like that she steps in the frame to nod, as if I'm wrong that our life expectancy isn't going down because of fentanyl, violence, and the fact that we're fat asses. As if anything I said was untrue. That makes me a corporate bootlicker. This is while she's supporting the murder of a CEO, by the way. And then she misses out on this great opportunity to slam me on a line that I make. But all right, here we go. In the old days, the life expectancy was 25 years old. You know what life expectancy was 25 years old in the past? Because you'd get eaten by a pterodactyl.
It's really wild how the same people like you who have been out there fanning the flames of the culture war.
Culture war again. Here we are. She's worried about this culture war that she does not want any part of, by the way. Also, the guy who murdered somebody is a great guy, a wonderful guy, and a hero.
For years, talking about woke and DEI, going after transgender people, all the punching down, telling people to boycott Target.
There was not a day that goes by where I haven't told someone to boycott Target. Wait, what I mean is I've never once said that. So again, she's just making things up. She's like, oh, you're fighting the culture war. And then just rattles off a bunch of culture war stuff that I'm not sure that she can point out where I've done. But she's just going off what she thinks is a caricature of the person she thinks she's attacking here. And she's doing it in the most smug and unlikable way. Why isn't it having much of an impact outside of your group? Is it because you're an unlikable person? Your typical liberal white woman who's out there taking up space of others and telling everyone how wrong they are for merely existing? You've got here Christians and white guys and men. Oh my God, they're the worst. Why? Because of a made-up reason that you want to project onto me. Not any real reason, because you can't debate the actual issues.
And Bud Light, and now you're out here defending giant health insurance companies and CEOs. It's a dirty, pathetic.
I'm defending a guy who got shot in the back by a lunatic. You're taking the other position that that's okay. Now, the clip you played, I was explaining, plain as day, that it's not okay to shoot somebody in the back, and you can blame a bunch of people for our problems and our health issues. It's not all the health companies, and we surely shouldn't be shooting CEOs. Not a wild position, but it's a position she can't argue it for real. So I'm a white guy, I'm a bad guy, I'm culture war, all these other things, bootlicker, blah, 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 blah.
Job, but I know someone has to do it. It really should be someone else, though, because you are terrible at it. I know
terrible at it. And then she goes into a post on Twitter that says, hey, here's the question for tomorrow. We'll talk about it on the radio. And it didn't get a lot of likes. So she decided that I'm terrible at my job. Okay. All right. I make more money than doctors, but all right, if you want to say that I could have a proper job, that's fine. So we go back and forth on this, and we say, fine, you'll come on, and I'll show some of those emails and messages right here. She says she's going to come on, she's going to come to the thing, and all this other stuff. But even though she complained that I wouldn't meet her in person, after I agreed to meet her in person on her terms, she then backed out. But guess what? That's my fault too. She can't take responsibility for a single thing she's ever done, not even backing out of a radio interview.
It's 4:30 in the morning. It's dark. It's cold and it's raining. And I'm supposed to be getting in my car like right now to drive to Athens to do an interview with Dale Jackson, a MAGA radio guy. His real name is Christopher Dale Griffin.
Now, why did you say that, Lindsay? Is it because you're completely out of ideas? So now we're attacking me for using a radio name? Well, why would that bother me? Why? I just don't. It's just so lazy and lame.
I dread the drive. I dread the entire terrible experience. I know it would be terrible, and you promised that. And so I'm not going to do it. So
you're the one that sought it out. You sought it out. Not me. You fought and said, it's got to be in person. I wanted to do like a 15-minute phone interview. You had no interest in that. You wanted to sit down in person and do it. And I said, great. And what did I do? I set up a situation for you where you could do so. I set up live streaming in my studio. I set up all these stuff. I decided to go in to a studio I don't work at so we could do what you wanted to do. And you backed out. And now you're making excuses. And wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear her actual reason for backing out.
you can go declare victory. You were going to do that anyway. But listen, I've done a lot of shitty things in my life. But one thing I've never done is make a fake website directing voters to vote on Wednesday. You put the Alabama state seal on it and everything. That's like supervillain level shit.
It's actually not supervillain level shit, nor is it what I did. So that is where she got sued, almost got sued for defamation, saying that I committed a crime, which I actually did not do. So she's lying about that. I was investigated by the Attorney General. His investigation didn't even warrant a charge, nor was the investigation real. He was just mad that I had embarrassed him. Lindsay understands that. That's why she's mad. She's been embarrassed. And every time somebody gets embarrassed, this is what they try to do. Instead of owning it and say, my bad, now she's gone out and lazily committed defamation. Now, that lawsuit's over. I'm fine with that. She would later apologize, although it's kind of a pathetic apology. But she would later apologize and, look like a loser and all those other things. But just to be clear here, this is her backing out. And now she has a bunch of reasons to explain why she backed out, as opposed to she can't hang. Okay, that's just the reality. If she could hang, we'd have a conversation about it. And she would be out here saying, oh, you're terrible. She knows nothing about me. We disagree politically. That doesn't make me evil or her evil. The only thing that makes her evil is her behavior after all of this. I've done nothing to this woman, especially up to this point. And here she is pretending that because she can't do something and won't do something because she's too weak, that now she has to smear me and lie about me. And that's defamation. And she's doing it with malice, as you've seen, and I've talked about before, the lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies, saying the police, I'm afraid of my life, and all this other nonsense. It's all the same thing. It's meant to shirk the responsibility of being a coward by saying, well, I couldn't do it. This other guy's just so terrible. She's just a coward. She continues. She has lots of reasons.
You really are a dirtbag. But it was this retweet that sealed the deal for me. I mean, not even thoughts and prayers, just rage bait. And school shootings are actually very triggery. For me, my son was shot years ago. The bullet was inches from his little 11-year-old spine, and it was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. And not that you give a shit because you don't have any empathy.
Like, what? Why even say all of that? Like, I know nothing about her. I know nothing about her, but all of a sudden I don't care that her son was shot. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? And the post she's talking about was talking about the person who did the shooting and what their history was. And she's claiming that's why she can't do it. I'm not supporting the school shooter. I'm criticizing the person who did the school shooting. What is she talking about? Nothing. She just realized she was going to get wrecked. Not physically. She was going to get wrecked in a conversation where she would actually have to sit down and listen to somebody explain their point of view. She would have to explain her point of view, and she'd have to defend it, which she cannot do. She operates in a one-way conversation, and that is it. She cannot get outside of that silo where people are telling her great for just voicing their opinions back to her. Oh, great. You're wonderful. I already believe that, but that's wonderful. Just a coward all the way through. But now it's about her son. Which, again, why would I not have empathy for that? It's horrible. Like, why? Why would you even say that? You know nothing about me. But here you are suggesting that I wouldn't care that your son was shot? Why are you such a piece of shit? Like, what a terrible person you are. And then you're, in the best framing of this, that's what you're thinking. In the worst framing, you're using your own kid as a shield against your own cowardness. Ridiculously pathetic and sad. You should be ashamed of yourself. I shouldn't even have to tell you to be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I hate that men like you exist in a world where I'm trying to raise sons to be good men. Fortunately, I think that your days are numbered once Trump and the Broligarchs take office.
Could you imagine if I had said something like that to her? I hate that you exist and your days are numbered. Just think if I had said that to her. What a scumbag. I mean, all this projection is awesome.
The world is going to look very different, and they're not going to need all these men with microphones out there. Plus, bots can do your job for free, and they don't have egos, so they don't get distracted by random Mountain Brook housewives.
You contacted me and said, I want to talk to you. Let's go. And I said, okay, let's do that. And now you're mad that you don't want to do it? What in the hell is this? Again, she's a liar. That's basically the gist of all of this. She's a liar. We can just reiterate that over and over and over again.
No, you're disappointed because you were probably armed with lots of one-liners to own me, and you're not.
I was going to wreck you. There was no question about it. You were going to get destroyed, and you absolutely know, which is why you wanted no part of it. You were thinking that I would never accept a face-to-face conversation with you or a conversation at all. But you're wrong. I love this shit. I love it. And if you had started researching me before this, instead of afterward, you'd find there's a long list of people that have run into this buzzsaw, and you were just going to be next. But hey, maybe I won't exist because people like me don't have any need to exist anymore, and you hate that I exist, and I'm a scumbag, and all these other things. Again, liberal white women just love to project their anger. It is a delight An absolute delight. And why isn't this cutting through to other people? Because you're a hateful person. I mean, that's really it. And you can't even do it with a smile. The hate just drips off of you. It's just pathetic.
To be able to use them, and you're not going to get that clip to post on Facebook.
I got plenty of clips out of this, actually. So thank you for what you were doing here. This helped me out a lot, actually.
That's going to get all the likes, that's going to, fill that giant sucking hole of need for attention and validation. But I can tell you,
this woman would later go on to ruin her Paris vacation because somebody was being mean to her on Facebook with a ton of lies and telling all of our audience all the terrible stuff that was happening to her that I had nothing to do with and was all lies anyway. I had to call the police. Because I was so scared, which of course was a lie. She didn't actually call the police until she got called out for it. And this is the problem. No one's ever called her out because nobody confronts her. She's not used to it, so she's gone into her little turtle shell, her silo. And now she's crashing out here all mad at me because I've embarrassed her.
You as someone who has accumulated over 12 million likes, as you pointed out in the 30-minute video about me, nothing's going to fill that void. I've been making content for 4 years, and I'm beyond ready to move on.
You keep saying that, but you're still around. I mean, again, mostly just because you're a liar.
With my life, I hate the internet. I'm ready to go and just be with my family. I'm proud of the work that I've done as a feminist, and ironically, it was all for men. It was for my sons. I wanted to give them a better world, and I can't do that. So now I'm just going to...
Why can't you just say you enjoy the attention? You're not doing it for your family. Give me a break. You're not doing it for your family, as I'll highlight here in just a little bit. You're not doing it for your family. Stop that nonsense, please. Please, just tell the truth for once.
Go and try to give them the best life that I can and teach them how to love and how to love well.
Listen to the words. Hold on. Go back and watch the words you just said. And you're telling me that that's about love and life and all this other nonsense. Bullshit. You're a hateful, sad, angry person. Okay? This is such a lie that it's not even understandable to me why you would do these things. Just say nothing. That's all you have to do. And instead, it's just all this projection and hate towards someone she doesn't know at all and knows nothing about. Right? That's what she said. I'm irrelevant. So why is she doing this to poor old me?
Where the work is now. So I'm going to go crawl back into bed with my husband, the finest man I've ever known. Not on.
You know what? If you weren't lying about everything else, I might believe that. But now, if he's watching this, she doesn't believe that. She doesn't believe anything she's saying here, and you know that.
Amen. Thank God. And then I'm going to get up and make breakfast and figure out how to exist in a world that I don't understand. So anyway, Dale, have fun with your culture war.
All this projection. She's really fixated on the culture. And by the way, she's done with the internet. She's done with all this. She's totally over it. She's just going to do some defamation and call it a day. And she's not totally going to crash out. She loves her family. It's the best thing in the world. That's why she went over to Paris and did this.
Merry Christmas Eve from Paris. It's 3:30 in the morning and I can't sleep because
you're having such a great time, right? Like, that's it. You're having such a wonderful time and you're just so happy.
Merry Christmas Eve from Paris. It's 3:30 in the morning and I can't sleep because I have jet lag. This happens every time. Plus, I'm being harassed and threatened with a defamation lawsuit. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this now.
So quick background in case you missed it. I had a bunch of online back and forth with a right-wing radio host who's like a local person, and I was going to go on his show. The only time he offered me was 6 a.m. On a weekday, an hour and a half away from.
You insisted on the in-person conversation. You picked the time. You agreed to it. Stop acting like you're a victim here. You just didn't want to do it because you're scared. And look, I get it. Even in your text messages to me or Facebook message or whatever, you're like, well, I was going to ask my husband to come, but it's too early. And you were very polite and nice. But this is the thing that kind of bothered me. I've been exactly the same way online and in private communications. And all these things are going to be posted, by the way. I'm posting all of it. Her phone number is going to be redacted. Her home address is going to be redacted. But she had no problem putting out all my information. So I don't have any problem putting out all hers. But you'll see in these texts, I'm completely polite this entire time. And she goes crazy. And this stuff you're seeing on video is even worse than what she's doing behind the scenes because she's a fraud. And she's acting like, oh, I had no choice, but it had to be the morning and an hour and a half away. You wanted that. I wanted to do a 15-minute conversation over the phone because you asked for an opportunity to, quote, let's do this. You did that, not me. And now you're pretending like you had no option here.
House, but I agreed to it, and I was actually excited. I got in his DMs. I had questions. I wanted to speak to a producer, and that wasn't possible. He also didn't answer my followers and I when we tagged him multiple times and asked, like, I knew it was going to be a live show, but we were asking if it would be posted in its entirety.
Of course, I was going to stream it. You knew that. This is a lie. This is all a lie. Every aspect of this is like, I didn't know if it was going to be posted in its entirety. Are you crazy? It's a radio show. Of course it's going to be posted in its entirety. It's 2024. We podcast everything. You knew all of this. Every aspect of it. And you're lying yet again because you're a liar.
Somewhere else, like on his podcast, he did not respond. He wasn't very responsive. It was kind of shady. And then that night on Twitter, he posted something or retweeted something that I just found offensive. So
yes, back to the that I retweeted someone who said, this is the person that did a school shooting. Here's what they believed. That's what she got mad about, or at least pretended. Again, she's lied. She was never coming. She got caught in a situation where she got all her followers all spun up. That, I'm going to take on this guy. Oh, but he's afraid to take me on. I said, okay, I'll take you on. And she's like, oh, he sent a tweet. She's lying. And if any of her people have continued to watch this, I know it's very lengthy here, and she already mentioned, you did a 30-minute video. Yeah, because you continuously lie. So I have to put it all out there because I have a reputation, believe it or not. I know you don't think it's worth anything, but I have a mortgage. I got to continue paying. I got a job I got to continue doing, and I'm not going to let you lie about me. Sorry. That's why these videos are so long. But stop lying and we would never have any of these problems.
When I got up that morning, it was 4:00 in the morning. It was dark, cold, and raining. And I thought, do I really want to drive an hour and a half to go talk to this guy? And I decided that I didn't want to. So I didn't do it. And I made a video and I said this in the video. And I've done a lot of shitty things in my life, but one thing I've never done is make a fake website directing voters to vote on Wednesday. You put the Alabama state seal on it and everything. That's like supervillain level shit. I mean, you really are a dirtbag. Dale has been having an absolute meltdown in my direct messages ever since.
By the way, she got mad that I said I was going to post all this, and she's been doing it the whole time. Isn't that kind of funny? I mean, it's kind of funny, isn't it? That she was mad about this? Yeah, a meltdown, by the way, is saying, stop lying. Why don't you stop lying? Could you stop lying? Hey, could you stop lying?
Honestly driving me crazy.
But you don't care. Later on, you would say you didn't care, but here you are crashing out yet again, this time in Paris at 3:00 in the morning, but you didn't care.
He says that it's not true, that I have defamed him and I owe him an apology. So here you go. Now, to be clear, the only reason I said it is because someone posted this in his comments on his page.
She had no reason to say it because it's not true, but she's now putting that off on somebody else. And listen to this reasoning. Once again, she cannot tell the truth. Everything is deception. Everything is projection. Everything is a lie.
And he admitted to it and said, all true, you got me, and it's...
Yes, I said, all true, you got me. Let's make sure we understand that. I said, all true, you got me, which is totally serious and not sarcastic at all.
He admitted to it and said, all true, you got me, and it's over 15 years ago, blah, blah, blah. So
the blah, blah, blahs, and it was awesome. That's the blah, 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 just FYI. So, again, she can't tell the truth. Everything is deception. Everything is projection with her. She can't even tell the truth about something she's making an excuse and apologizing for.
I thought that it was true. I really did. There's lots of articles out there about it. This was back in 2009. I haven't read them because...
By the way, look at that picture. Look at that picture. Well, just look at it.
This was back in 2009. I haven't...
I was like, why didn't anyone let me have a goatee? What in the world were they thinking? What in the world? I mean, I'm already not a very attractive guy at all, but what was that all about? Good Lord. And yes, there were articles because these people got very upset about this. It was a joke. It wasn't as she described it. It wasn't criminal. It was a joke. And that's the problem here. She suggested I committed a crime and stood by that. And now she's claiming, well, it wasn't my fault. Someone else made me do it.
Read them because I don't give a shit.
You care very much, you liar. I mean, someone who doesn't care doesn't say, I don't give a shit, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't give a shit, I don't care, I don't care. You care very much. Stop lying. I mean, I should stop saying stop lying because we all know it's not going to happen.
Dale says that he did not commit a crime and that he was not convicted, and I believe him. And again, I don't give a shit.
You care very much, you pathetic liar. You're in Paris at 3 a.m., your kids and your husband are asleep because it's 3 a.m., and you are up filming a video like a loser on your vacation. Just think about that. And what was funny is when you did this, all of your followers were like, hey, I can't believe you're responding to this. Aren't you spending time with your family? I'm like, are you not watching? She's in Paris, and here she is doing this. Give me a break.
He's demanding a very specific apology, or he's going to sue me for defamation. And at first I kind of laughed, but then I got kind of worried because I'm afraid for my safety more than I am a defamation.
Oh, God, you're such a liar. Again, every criticism does not mean your life is at risk. And liberals love doing this. Oh, I'm in fear for my life. I'm so scared. People are criticizing. No, people are criticizing you because you're an asshole. Okay, that's the problem. Stop being an asshole and people won't criticize you. That doesn't put you at risk. And you haven't shown a single instance where you were actually at risk. I have. I can show you where people threaten to come to my house. They're not going to because they're cowards just like you. But my address was out there online. For real. Nobody redacted that. But you're over here acting like your life is at risk, which is a made-up thing meant to deflect blame. Just tell the truth, you pathetic liar.
Lawsuit. He seems very unhinged in my DMs, and people are...
You're going to have to read those DMs and stuff yourself because I did nothing unhinged except say, hey, you need to apologize. If you can show me, I'm more than happy to take up whatever unhingedness I may have expressed. I'd love to hear anyone who thinks it's unhinged tell me exactly what it is, and I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. But you can find these DMs on a website that I like to call, what is it? Facebook. Or you can go to LindsayBookerIsALiar.com, or you can go to bhamblue.isaliar.com, or BirminghamProgressive.isaliar.com, LindsayGardnerIsALiar.com. And it will link back to this post on Facebook, where at the bottom in the comments, I will put all the text messages and stuff like that with the stuff redacted. I mean, I will redact all of the contact information and things like that, but that's on her. I mean, she's the one who's doing this. She's forcing my hand here by telling all these lies. And once again, oh, I'm at risk. You're not at risk. Oh, he's unhinged. I'm not unhinged. You're a liar. That's just the way it is.
Crazy, and I don't want any of that. I want to enjoy my vacation.
Nope. You went on for 5 days later and sent yet another series of videos, most of which you deleted, like she deleted this one as well. So she, again, cannot tell the truth. She did not want to enjoy her family vacation. She ruined her entire family vacation. I'll note that right here again. She sent me an email saying her family vacation was ruined. And I think it may be the only truthful thing she ever said.
In Paris. And so here you go, Dale. He wants something very specific.
Very specific.
Hold, please. I apologize for incorrectly accusing Dale Jackson of committing a crime in a previous video. I'm now making this video to make up for that one. I should not have done that. And now we both agree that this matter is closed.
Got it? Okay, good. Now, it's a sarcastic apology. It's malicious compliance, but it's compliance, and I accept your apology. Now, you don't mean it because you're a liar, but that's fine. But I also told you, and we went over this at the beginning, that if you did not stop posting about me, delete all the stuff you had, that I was going to put all this information out. You decided to say that was like a threat and post about me again. So this is why this video exists right here. You did this. Again, this was your choice. Lawsuit dropped. Okay, you wanted to do malicious compliance. I'm going to do, and I'm doing malicious honesty. That's all I can do. These are your choices. You made these decisions, stupid decisions, but these are your decisions nonetheless.
Dale, I hope that works for you, and I hope that you will move on with your life. I know it's going to be difficult. The thing about social media, I've been doing this for a long time, and I know exactly.
It's so funny she has all these lectures about social media, yet she is creating a terrible situation for herself and her family by doing things the way she's doing it. Have you ever thought about not being a terrible person? in a liar, that would have made things a lot easier. But please tell me about social media.
Exactly what it does to your brain and the excitement of getting like all this attention and like all of this dopamine and all the notifications, blah, blah, blah. And then when it dries up like that, it's a real mind fuck.
It may be for you, but I will tell you this right now. I've been on the radio for almost 20 years. I've been doing social media this whole time. None of the thing that happens on social media matters because the internet is not real life. I enjoy it. It's fun. 40,000 followers on Facebook, 200-something followers on Instagram, because up until now, I've never used it, except it just refeeds whatever I put on Facebook. I never use it until now, so there's nothing there. You used to have a Twitter account, but you deleted that. But I have like 12,000 followers on Twitter or something, but who cares? It may be a mindfuck for you, but most of us don't go on and try to pretend that we're something we're not. I just tell the truth. Malicious honesty. You're a liar and you're projecting. And I love that you're like, oh, well, I've been doing this a long time and it doesn't bother me and I don't care. But here I am reading an apology at 3 o'clock in the morning because you care so much. Lying about being afraid, lying about absolutely everything because you didn't want to do an interview that you claimed you wanted. You thought nobody was going to call you on your bullshit, and now they did, and it's wrecked your entire month and your vacation in Paris, which, by the way, sucks for your family, but is hilarious to me. And I'm sorry. I'd much rather none of this been happening because I asked you, just apologize for what you did, and let's call it a day, and you wanted no part of that. But here you are at 3 o'clock in the morning in Paris, whining and crying and groveling and apologizing.
I knew exactly what I was doing, and I knew what would get under your skin.
That's why you just apologize for it, right? That's why you're up at 3 a.m. recording an apology in Paris because this is going exactly how you wanted it, right? You freaking pathetic liar.
And I shouldn't have done it, so I'm sorry about that too. And again, I'm sorry that I posted the thing where you admitted to doing something that you actually did not do, to be clear.
Even her apology was a lie. I'm going to accept her apology, but even her apology was a lie. Just keep that in mind.
So I hope you accept my apology. Move on with your life. I'm going to do the same.
No, you're not.
And everyone else, please do not dox, threaten, or harass.
Which means please dox, threaten, and harass, which is exactly what they did after this. Posted my address online, said they were going to come to my house. All that happened after this video, by the way. Just keep that in mind. All these things, I know I keep saying keep that in mind, but these are all things that she did intentionally. So even her don't dox, threaten, or harass meant please go dox, threaten, and harass. And that's exactly what her followers did.
And don't mention him. Don't tag him. Just no more attention for.
She tagged me from accounts I didn't even know existed after she did this video. Everything she did is a lie. Everything she says is a lie. Everything about her is a lie. That's the point of all of this. And she's worried about doxing and stuff like that, right? Sure.
Dale. So we're done with Dale. We're moving on, and I hope he has a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
Keep in mind, this was on Christmas Eve at 3 a.m., if I remember correctly. And on Christmas Eve at 3 a.m. 2 days ago, she sent the video that we started this with, where she's, I'm off the internet forever. I'm done. Oh, this is the end of this for me. I'm finished. I'm done. But she let it go another 5 days while she was in Paris, spinning out, crashing out. All she had to do was stop being terrible and stop lying. That was it. And she couldn't do it. I'm glad she finally came around to it. But I do want to share one more video because I think it's important. She's worried about doxing and all this other stuff, and she lied about a bunch of stuff. But I just want to share something with you. This is her doxing people. Just worth pointing out here.
So this is not a roast. For a roast, the person has to be present, and then everyone tells jokes at their expense, and then they all have a good laugh. But she's not going to be at this event. So what this is going to be is two mediocre white men on a
same shtick over and over and over again. She's got literally nothing else to add to the world except calling people white men. It's so sad. It is so. And she married a white guy, and she birthed 2 white kids, I think. I mean, good Lord.
Stage throwing a tantrum because a black woman, despite all the decks being stacked against her, has achieved more than they ever will in their very small lives. And not just that, women of her caliber do not want to fuck them, and they are angry about it.
Listen to this. Look, imagine being this cocksure online, and then the minute one of these mediocre white men actually give her the attention she so desires, she crumbles immediately to the point where she's in Paris at 3 a.m. reading apologies that they made her read. I mean, just imagine. But this is what you get when you're just talking to people who agree with you, because the minute you're pressured, you just collapse because you don't know what to do. If she had any spine, she'd be like, Dale, I want to come on your radio show now. Let's have a conversation about how all this went down. And I'm open to that. She will never do it. She'll also say she didn't watch the video. She's lying. She'll say that and all this other stuff if she even addresses this at all, which she shouldn't. You're very stupid for her to do. But if she does, she'll say she didn't watch and I threw a tantrum, which I don't think I did. But, I put together a pretty long video here, but I'm going to defend myself. I'm not going to be smeared and lied about. But hey, let's get to where she's okay with docs. I'm sorry. She's just back to the same projection and nonsense, but let's continue.
So that's what's going to be happening, and they will be joined by other mediocre white men. And listen, girls at USC, any guy who goes to this, you don't want to date him, much less marry him. I promise. I've been married a long time, and this is a very sad, insecure man who goes to this, who is not husband material. So what I would do is I would go and I would sit outside this event and I would take pictures of every guy who goes in there and then put it on the internet somewhere and let everyone know that they have alerted all of the girls at USC that they are not dating material. So that's just what I would do. Disgusting, but free speech, whatever.
Oh, see, so again, all projection, all lying. She docks them, and it's just free speech. It's just free speech. But if I do anything to her that she considers doxing, which is not, I'm not going to dox her. That's wrong to do. She will complain and whine and talk about how disgusting it is. Yet she says, let's do that. Now, as you can see, this is a pathetic person. And this is not something that we need to do all the time or anything like this. This is not something that should be happening in our political discourse. What should have happened in our political discourse is this. She should have said, let's have a conversation on the radio. And I said, okay, cool. What time do you want to call in? And then she said, these are the times I'm available. I pick a time and we have a conversation. Maybe it's ugly. Who cares? And that would have been the end of it. But because she couldn't even do that, she wanted to say, well, I'll only come if you do it in person. Because she knew I work from home. And I told her I wasn't going to let her come to my house. My address is out there now because of people like her. So I wasn't going to give her my address and say, come to my house. And also, how stupid would it be to allow this woman into my house with her record of lying about every interaction we've had? What's she going to do when she comes in here? Is she going to lie about that interaction? Probably. And what's that lie going to be? Listen to her talk. You already know what I'm saying. You know damn well what kind of person this is. I guess it's this way, actually. But you know what kind of person this is. Look at her face. You can tell what kind of person this is. Okay? So lying is not beyond her. She is a liar. And I've proven that here over the last almost hour. So I wasn't going to allow her to come into my house. Because she's a liar and she's a terrible person. It's unfortunate. Lindsay, doesn't have to be this way. We could have been nice. We could have had a nice conversation. And I would have probably invited you to come on regularly. We could have had those conversations. You could reach those people you claim you want to reach. But you are not able to do it. You are not smart enough to do what you think you're doing. And you're not effective enough to make an actual difference. So you're right. Get off the internet. This is too hard for you. And I'm sorry this has happened to you. I mean, it's really, really funny, but I am sorry that it's happened to you. So let's go back to the very beginning of this. This is her accepting that she is a terrible person and understanding that things don't have to be this way. She's chosen this life. And I'm sorry, but here's her apologizing one more time, basically saying, I'm done on the internet now forever. She's lying, of course.
It's my last day in Paris. I'm coming home tomorrow. But I wanted to make you all aware of something that's happening. I'm going to be making some changes to my page, and I want to ask for your help with something. I woke up this morning to yet another email from the radio host who has been emailing me like every day saying that he is going to drop the lawsuit. It was a very lengthy email, but the gist of it is that he's not going to sue me for defamation. Instead, he is going to do a full-on smear campaign if I don't apologize or take all of my content down for good. Lots of screenshots of our communication and some other disturbing screenshots, including personal information from the internet, like a picture of my house with the value of my home and my cell phone number, like super creepy. I think I've posted about him like 4 times, but I have removed every mention of him.
Why?
From my page, but he keeps going. He has posted on multiple platforms, multiple times. And apparently he's talking about me on the radio a lot, so much that he's alienating his own listeners. This is a comment from his Facebook.
That's a lie as well. We've gone through that.
Page that says, dude, maybe I'm the only one, but you've lost a longtime listener and follower over this BS, and goes on to say, I may just tune out of 92.5 altogether. So we're talking about like real unhinged stuff. Anyway, this smear campaign is going to include a bunch of websites, and you know what? Go for it.
Okay. Thank you. I will.
I've been doing social media for 4 years now. I've endured so many smear campaigns. You have no idea how many times I have been humiliated, how many times I've had to take my page down, how many times I've been canceled. And that's just from my own side. And then, of course, there's the stuff from the MAGA side, mostly white men with things like Christ follower in their bios, calling me every name in the book, telling me to off myself. I've received death threats. I've been harassed and threatened and doxxed, all of that. And honestly, it's been the biggest blessing, because I used to be a person who cared very deeply what people think of me, and now I don't at all. You can't hurt my feelings. I don't have any. I'm cured. So anyway, also, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I have lots of skeletons in the closet. So you and your friends at 1819 and Yellowhammer, feel free to dig it up. I'm sure it's true, and I own every bit of it.
No idea. By the way, I didn't dig into any of her life at all. No desire to do. I'm just going off what she said. She's the one that's done all the digging, and she got herself in trouble by doing it.
Flawed person who is always growing and changing, and my views are always changing as well, because it's okay to change your mind when presented with new information. One of my biggest frustrations with social media is that these are this kid keep us siloed, and I'm in an echo chamber, and a lot of times it just feels like wasted time. And this campaign will be talking about my watching, maybe people you need, where's the this is my point to make some manifesting and some content not waiting to with the rest of your somebody shot to them these my support is hope that because it's all distracted. It's social separation and steal our tax dollars. I'm tired.
Just insane.
Tired of it. That's how it is. But if there's content below you, you're going to see how you means them post interact and all that, so that it gets out there, and maybe we can reach some people. I don't know. So anyway, I'm not going to make new content. I've said everything I need to say, and I'm really tired. This takes a lot out of me. It really does. So that's all. I'm going to go enjoy my last night in Paris, and
that was a lie.
And I will see you all later. Bye.
Good. Stop making content. Stop lying. You told me at the very beginning of this that you were ready to go. Well, let's go. Okay. Well, let's stop. Okay? This can all end right now. All you have to do is stop being stupid and stop lying. I accept your apology. I'm going to do what I told you I was going to do. These were all your choices. You made every choice in this situation. Every single one of them. So, as you continue to complain and whine about your life and talk about how you don't care about anything while you complain and lie about your life, that's fine. But you did this.